6:30 now. I'd like to call to order the Maine Township Agency Funding Special Meeting. And first thing we'll do is conduct our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call.
Supervisor Dunn.
Here.
Trustee Jones. Here. Trustee Horvath. Here. Trustee Maher.
Here.
Trustee Malik.
Here.
Administrator Berman. Here. Department heads Dakinsky. Here. Lyon. Here. And Kelson.
Here.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we are looking forward to hearing from some of the agencies seeking grant funding tonight. Do you have our first presenter here tonight?
First, we have Karen Fay with Center for Enriched Living.
All right, thank you. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Karen Fay, and I'm the grants manager with the Center for Enriched Living. I've been with the CEL for about 5 years, and this is one of my favorite parts of being able to share about what we do for the community. We provide social, recreational, life skill, and employment programming for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Did you know that Illinois ranks at the bottom of providing support and resources to families with individuals with developmental disabilities? We are at 47th out of 50. For more than 53 years, CL has been providing and ensuring people with intellectual and developmental disabilities can be fully included in the community, achieve personal success, and enjoy good quality of life. In a typical year, our programs support 450 individuals, we call them our members, who come to us from 50 different Chicagoland communities. Programs are designed to address the 3 largest challenges faced by individuals, our members. Lack of services and programs options for transitioning out of school once they turn 22. Shortage of employment opportunities. There's an 85% unemployment rate for individuals with developmental disabilities. And prolonged social isolation, which is a key barrier in full life and a healthy mental well-being. Members as young as 13 and as old as or over 80 can participate weekly in our weekly with our classes that are offered 7 days a week. We focus on 3 areas: social enrichment. We have classes in the evenings such as bowling, creative arts, guys and girls night out, cooking, friendship clubs, chorus, karaoke night, teen club, technology, summer camp for those 22 and younger. We even also host many social events, dances, excursions, and vacations. Sounds really fun, actually, doesn't it? Right now, these programs are offered in person and virtually. Our next type of program we offer is adult education. Our Reach Day program is available for those that are 22 and older. As you know, that once they graduate from high school at the age of 22, their opportunities for growth and learning is very limited. We have a program that's offered during the week, and the majority of the time, up to 70% of the time to be exact, they are out in the community exploring and learning about what the community offers. The last type of program we have is employment. Our employment program provides hands-on skills and classes through our Career Academy, and we partner with local businesses to find paid, part-time, and full-time employment for our members. Since last March, programming has been offered in person and virtual, and Maine Township members have been participating in almost all of our programs, including our Reach Day program, evening and weekend programs, summer camp, and we even have a Center on Wheels, although due to COVID, that has been postponed. Our physical building is located in Riverwoods, but we offer programs in various schools and group homes. The age range for the township members is 25 is the youngest right now, and up to 68 years old. Last year, we served 230 individuals, and this is a decrease from our previous year due to COVID. We had served 10 individuals from Maine Township, In our prior year, we were at about 35 from the township. The decrease is primarily due to two things. One, families have been uncomfortable about participating, and maybe their loved ones are not comfortable with the virtual format. And the other piece is one of our largest number of individuals is from residential facilities, and they have different guidelines, and we're hoping to partner back with them again in this fiscal year in 22. We received less than 1% less than 1% from state or federal funding for our organizational budget, and we rely on the community for 70% of our organizational budget. This includes individual donors, special events, grants, and funds from the township. We do have a fee for our programs, and this represents about 30% of our budget. This can range from $5 to $15 per hour, and we do have an extensive financial assistance program which allows families who want to participate in programs able to do so. Last year, 8 township families received financial aid in a total amount of about $2,100. We have some big goals in terms of where we would like to be in the next few years, and one of them is we would like to get our membership back to where it was prior to COVID. And that is one of the biggest pieces we will be working on as we move forward through this fiscal year. The other big focus points we have is to continue our employment opportunities program. This is one program that has seen growth through COVID, which is maybe a little unusual, but because we see the need and that our members have the skill set to be able to provide those that need for those businesses. And then lastly, we will be opening a family resource center in summer of 2022. This will give families, parents, caregivers, and the community an opportunity to have access to social worker, behavioral analysts, and clinical therapists. And with that, I want to say thank you for having me here tonight, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I'm going to turn to board member Nez, and we have a question of this applicant. Also to our directors. Any questions?
I did have one question. How are the residents, how do they get to your facility? Do you provide transportation, or are they responsible on their own?
So right now, depending on what program it is, we do offer transportation to the programs. Due to COVID, it's been a little bit challenging just in the support from our staff, from families, etc. So we have a fleet of about 10 vehicles. So once an individual gets to CEL, we do have transportation to go out into the community, and so every program is out in the community as needed. And then depending on the program, we offer transportation. So, thank you.
Where's the Family Resource Center going to be? You said the Family Resource Center will be opening. Where is that located?
It will be hosted in our current building in the Riverwoods location.
All right, thank you.
Do you have any other questions from your board members? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there a second applicant here?
Yes, up next we have Melody Rose and Terry Seaman presenting for the Harbor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melody Rose. I'm the executive director at the Harbor. We're located just around the corner here at 1440 Renaissance Drive. And I'm excited to be talking to you. This is my second day of my third week as executive director, and first opportunity to come speak with you about our application. This year, the Harbor is celebrating its 50th anniversary. We're really excited that Maine Township has been a supporter for the Harbor for over half of that history. It's been incredible for your support, given the presence that we have within Maine Township, not only our administrative offices, but also 2 of our programs. We offer emergency shelter as well as transitional living programs and group homes for female identifying young people. We provide emergency shelter. We also, within the transitional programs, work to create sustainable, lifelong life skills, as well as just day-to-day positive relationships with adults, mentors, have. One of our emergency shelter is located on River Road. We also have a transitional program both in Maine Township. One of the things that has been really incredible about the type of services that the harbor offers is that none were impacted by the pandemic. The services kept going and were more crucial than ever. And all while that was happening, our shelter, which exists in a 100-year-old farmhouse, we've broken ground on a new shelter that will be also in Maine Township, that will have a wing exclusively dedicated to young adults, as well as minors who are in need of emergency shelter, as well as a mothering room that has space for a new mother and her baby that's filling an unmet need that we've had for a long time. We're expected to complete that this coming spring, and we're really excited that through our presence in Maine Township, we've been able to serve just this past year alone 17 youth from the Maine Township area, and that equates to about 1,800 days of care. And in the current allocation that we're at is $6,800, and we're requesting $8,000 in support of our agency to offset costs to the services in to Maine Township. I want to allow my colleague, Craig Shepard, our government grant manager, to
Hi, yes, I just wanted to add also, so our Successful Teens Effective Parents program, we do receive federal funding for that. And I'm happy to report that in this funding round, we have added a component which allows us to lease in the harbor's name. So youth can come to us immediately, and we can house them in apartments leased in our name, while we work with them to identify apartments to be leased in their name, which is a great help because one unintended consequence of the eviction moratorium is that landlords are increasingly wary of leasing to youth, particularly those with little or poor credit history. So this will be a wonderful way to get youth in our housing immediately, while we work with them on a long-term plan. And also, I just want to add, most of what we've mentioned so far revolves around housing, but we're also much more than that. In addition to a safe place to live, we are also a place to find support, to learn, and to grow. Many of our youth haven't had positive role models when it comes to money management, and a lot of them are in need of credit repair assistance. We provide an 8-hour curriculum on financial literacy to youth, with groups throughout the year on topics like credit management, identity theft, banking, and tax prep and filing. Staff helps youth develop a spending plan each week and provides monthly coaching around budgeting and saving. We monitor youth's credit scores monthly and help youth build and repair their credit. Our CPA accountant also teaches a session on tax prep each year. Again, as Melody said, we are so appreciative of the township's continued support for over half of our history, and happy to celebrate that milestone together. So again, we thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Great, first I'll turn to board members, any questions? Yeah.
I just had one. Do you happen to know, ladies, how many other townships are involved in paying the $35,000 approximately dollars that we receive from townships? Are there 2 or 3 of them? Did you know?
Yes, we also get funding from Schaumburg Township, from Niles Township, Palatine Township. I feel like I'm forgetting one.
So it's approximately 4. including Maine Township.
Yes.
Approximately 4 total townships
Yes.
contribute the total of 39. Okay. But you're located in our township. You're located.
Oh, I'm sorry, Northfield Township as well.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's total of
Yes.
6 total. Thank you very much. Okay.
Other questions from board members? Questions?
What is the average length of stay, and what is the main way that you get referrals?
Yeah, so the average length of stay for our shelter is about 2 weeks. For all of our other programs, it can be up to 18 months. So the shelter is really where we stabilize youth and, if possible, reunite them with their families. And if that's not possible, our longer-term programs are there to put them on a path to self-sufficiency. In terms of referrals, we get quite a few referrals from schools, police departments, word of mouth is a big one. We've had a lot of youth come to us because they've known friends who have come to the harbor. Am I forgetting any other referrals?
I think as a former partner agent, I come from a partner agency in the harbor, and I know within just the youth serving nonprofit circuit, the harbor is the go-to for identifying young people, and one of the most accessible options, and really difficult to know.
Is a parent just able to call? Like a parent, or do you need a social worker or a police referral, or just?
Oh, you can self-refer.
You can self-refer.
You can contact the harbor, and we'll work with you depending on whatever angle you're coming in. We want to make sure we have an intake coordinator who can help best map programs based on the immediate needs. And then we, as Terry was describing, shepherd them from whatever that most intensive stabilization need is to longer-term sustainability.
Thank you.
And I'm so sorry, I did remember one more township, Wheeling Township, we also.
Having been in your current building, I know that the new building is definitely a need and not a want. I'm curious, how have you been able to fundraise for that new building?
For the capital campaign, we had a match that came to us that helped us tremendously. And we also had a very unexpected large gift come in as a result of a news piece that ran on television. So that went a long way towards us reaching our goal. And of course, we've had board support and support from the community and our regular donors as well.
Thanks, can't wait to see it when it's done.
Yes, it's moving fast. You catch it while it's happening.
Can you clarify, what exact ages are you serving? The ages.
So in the shelter, it's ages 12 to 20, and then in the longer term programs, it's 16 to 23.
And can you address something that you mentioned in your application? You say that suburban homeless youth are different than urban homeless youth. And can you explain why that is?
Sure. So in the suburbs, they tend not to be on the street. They're typically not visible. They are more likely to couch surf or sleep on the couches of friends, family members, until that, which it always does, that option runs out, and then they typically are eventually pushed to the streets. But at that point, it seems that they end up going towards the city. So we try to catch them while they're still housing and unstable, I guess I would say.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Rebecca Placentia presenting for Northwest Center at Exceptional Self.
Okay. Have my stuff pulled up? Are you ready to go? Just have me know if I'm good to start.
Yeah, okay.
Good to start? Okay. So good evening, my name is Rebecca Placencia, and I represent the Northwest Center Against Sexual Assault, or Northwest CASA for short. So Northwest CASA works to facilitate the healing for survivors of sexual violence and eradicate sexual violence in our community. We have 3 offices, with our main office being in Arlington Heights, 2 satellite offices, one in Evanston and one covering McHenry County. So to accomplish our mission, we offer 4 main services. The first service is specialized counseling to survivors of all ages, including group counseling and a yoga group therapy program. We do medical legal advocacy. Advocates provide 24/7 services at 12 area hospitals and 37 police departments. We also offer sexual assault prevention. We offer age-appropriate programming to schools, colleges, and to the general public. We also train professional allied professionals. And then we have a 24/7 crisis hotline, which is our tried and true staple of Northwest CASA, which has been here since our inception in 1976. So Maine Township supports and has supported Northwest CASA's counseling, advocacy, and 24/7 hotline programs. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. Last year, Northwest CASA served 44 clients from Maine Township for medical legal advocacy and or counseling, and also, just as an FYI, Northwest CASA also provided prevention education to 3,400 students in Maine Township's area, even though that's not a part of the program for them. So our services are often intertwined, and so to truly understand how all the services operate in real life, I would like to share a story about an actual township resident tonight, and how both advocacy and counseling services impact her. So for the sake of confidentiality tonight, I'm going to call her Grace. So it's 2018, and Grace is living in her 20s, and she's moving and asked a couple friends to assist her. And after they were done with the heavy lifting, Grace thanked the crew with some celebratory drinks, all completely normal. And they hung out, they chatted, but before that night was over, Grace's whole life has shifted. At one point in the night, when Grace went back to her bedroom, one of the very friends that had offered to help her move her stuff that day betrayed her trust and sexually assaulted her in her new space. And this was devastating for Grace. So when Northwest CASA first met Grace, we were responding to her medical advocacy call at Lutheran General. Grace also gave an initial statement to the police department, even though she didn't quite feel ready to move forward at that time. And so on that one day, Grace endured, 1, the traumatic effects of sexual violence, 2, the shock, hurt, and confusion of it being someone that you know, which it often is, 3, the invasiveness of a medical forensic exam and evidence collection kit, and 4, the probing questions of local police, because even if you're cooperating, it's exhausting. So just because of the agreements with the hospitals previously mentioned, a Northwest CASA medical advocate was able to respond on scene to guide Grace through this overwhelming process, but the service didn't stop there. As I mentioned, instead of moving forward immediately with the case, Grace began counseling services at Northwest CASA, and after a year of hard work on the trauma she had endured, Grace asked to be connected to a Northwest CASA legal advocate to discuss her options. Northwest CASA takes the approach of providing all the options available and supporting the survivor in what they choose to do, allowing the power of choice. So Grace listened intently to her options and pondered this choice that she knew she would one day need to make, and for Grace, she knew she was ready. And Northwest CASA supported Grace through the process of making the statement to the detective, providing witnesses, and waiting for the testing of the evidence collection kit. And throughout the discovery process, Grace continued to use counseling services provided by Northwest CASA. She relied on her therapist when the evidence collection kit came back showing GHB in her system, processing this new information that this friend had deliberately drugged her and was a skilled predator, in fact. And he had carefully planned and premeditated his attack. She leaned on the support of Northwest CASA once again when her good friend and one of the key witnesses to the case tragically died in an accident. But she kept going. She has stayed strong and continued to press forward, and the charges were brought in the case, and the criminal case is still ongoing today. But despite the setbacks experienced in the current pandemic, Grace moves forward. She is continuing to see a therapist at Northwest CASA and working through the court system with our legal advocates. Our legal advocates are now not only guiding survivors through a court process, but guiding them through a post-pandemic court process, which I'm sure you can imagine only adds to the stress. But we are doing it together. A community working together to support survivors like Grace and get sexual predators off the street. And this is one of many examples at Northwest CASA where medical advocacy leads to counseling, which then leads to legal advocacy. These services can be combined or used a la carte, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Northwest CASA is there to answer that call, which is exactly why supporters like Maine Township are so crucial to ensuring residents like Grace and her family continue to have access to care. Thank you.
Board members, any questions?
This says that you actually got 46,000 from the Attorney General. Is that the Orange Attorney General?
Yes.
distributed? Wow,
Yeah, we've been receiving that, I feel like it's probably about 5 years.
it's impressive. I didn't know that they could
Go ahead. Thank you. I didn't know that that was out of the norm, so that's good to hear. And it means that they're
I was shocked when I
not
saw that. Wow. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, we have all your.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the support.
Next speaker.
Up next, we're going to have Northfield Lopez representing the Turning Point Behavioral Health Care Center.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for this opportunity to present tonight on Turning Point. Again, my name is Northfield Lopez. I'm the Chief Clinical Officer there. At Turning Point, our mission is solid support when you need it most. And we've been serving our community for over 52 years now, with approximately 1,300 clients per year. 12% are children, and 90% are considered low income. And over the last fiscal year, we served 119 Maine Township residents. Even though we don't have a catchment area, so as long as folks can get to us or reach us, we can serve them. Our building is open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 8 and Fridays from 8 to 4. We have been accredited by the Council on Accreditation for Rehabilitation Facilities with their highest accreditation in 3 years. We've also been recognized by the Illinois Association of Behavioral Health and the National Council for Behavioral Health. And just last night, we received the Skokie Business Award for the year. We are a community mental health center, and so we serve clients from the age of 5 and up, offering individual counseling, family counseling, group counseling, and couples counseling. Our clients can experience adjustments to school issues or work issues to our chronic recessive mental illnesses like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression. In addition to the therapeutic services, we offer case management as well. So we help folks obtain and maintain benefits like Medicaid, Medicare, and get linked to resources like doctors, dentists, food pantries, housing, etc. The same team of case managers also work to a residential program. We have 24 slots with apartments in Skokie as well as Des Plaines. It's transitional, so folks are time limited, and while with us, they work on their independent living skills. We offer a pretty robust psychosocial rehab program, which is our day groups program, and that runs Monday through Friday from 9 to about 4. Pre-COVID, we offered more than 50 groups per week, and groups ranging from skills-based groups like cooking, cleaning, budgeting, to focusing on trauma and processing those issues, to more community groups where folks are learning to navigate the transportation system or going to grocery stores, going to banks. We also offer a 24-hour crisis coverage, so folks experience a sort of crisis, whatever that means to them, we can assist them through that, either through de-escalation, problem solving, or even facilitate hospitalization if needed. Under the same umbrella of crisis, we have a program called The Living Room, which is a respite program for adults in crisis. And what's unique about that is that it's staffed by folks with lived experience of mental illness and stuff. I'm happy to share that we expanded our hours in the room. It is now available 7 days per week, 7 days per week from 12 to 8. And as of this Monday, we're back to in-person services for the living room. In fact, during phase 1 of our reopening, therapists and clients who want to be seen in person can do so. We're also offering 2 days of groups back in person. In addition to the 7 days per week, we offer 150 groups per week, and that runs Monday through Friday from 9 to about 4. Pre-COVID, we offered more than 50 groups per week, Anyone interested in our service can contact our main number, and a therapist will return their call within 24 hours and do a full assessment. And ideally, that same clinician will give the therapist moving forward. At Turning Point, we know that we can't do this work alone, so we partner with a lot of organizations. We know that's important. In fact, we have organizations who have office space in our building. So Heartland Health Centers offers medical services and psychiatry. Impact Behavioral Health Partners is offering employment services for clients. NAMI, the Suburban Chapter, is in that building as well, providing family support, advocacy, and education. And recently, Peer Services will be on-site offering substance abuse services. Two big endeavors we're working on this year, or next few years at Turning Point, is becoming more trauma-informed. So we're working with our staff to provide training and looking at our policies and procedures to make sure that we are more trauma-informed as we move forward. And lastly, we're working on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Again, bringing in training, we have consultants we're working with right now to assess our level of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and make changes as needed. We have been very grateful in Maine Township for your support over the years. Insurances and fees only cover about 57% of our expenses. So your support has always helped bridge that gap, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happy to answer questions.
Any questions from the board members? Or our directors?
Do you know how many Maine Township residents you served last year?
Yes, 119.
I'm sorry,
119.
the same as this, I mean, I'm sorry, the year before. I know you have 119 on your application. Do you know the difference between?
There's not the same for the call. I might have my notes from last year.
I'm just wondering if you know if it went up or down.
It was 154 last year.
Okay, so it went down a little bit. Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Austin?
I just wanted to say you've always helped the general assistance department here with the clients that we have who apply for disability because of mental health issues that they have, and you always perform the psychiatric evaluation, and I just thank you for that.
Thank you.
No, I'm curious, what percentage of in-person and virtual services do you have currently?
That's a good question. We're not quite track that yet. We're still in the process of moving back to in-person services. I would say when full groups is still 5 days, and maybe 25% of our therapists are coming in.
And how about staffing? Are you fully staffed with therapists? Are you still looking to hire? How is that process?
Yeah,
been?
we're
How's
always
that
looking
challenging?
to hire. It's been a difficult time over the last couple of years, especially for licensed therapists. But July, August of this year, we were able to hire interns. So we were able to have 4 of them and help to make the wait list. But we're still open.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Doug.
We have another presenter here now.
Up next, we're going to have Sharon Anderson for Little City Foundation.
Hello, my name is Sharon Anderson. I'm the grants manager for Little City Foundation. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you tonight and for your past support. Since 1959, Little City's mission has been to serve children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, or IDD, by providing the best options and opportunities to live safely, learn continuously, explore creatively, and work productively throughout their lifetimes. We assist hundreds of children and adults, along with their families, throughout the Chicago area by providing education, training, skills, and encouragement. Our goal is to make tomorrow better than today by continually making great strides to further enrich the lives of those we serve to help them flourish. Little City strives to provide the highest quality care, align with best practices, and foster innovation in its programs and services, which include 24/7 supportive residential settings for children and adults, a therapeutic day school for children, home-based supports for clients who live with their families, applied behavior analysis and therapy with board-certified behavior analysts, foster care and adoption services for children, employment services for adults, and a variety of therapeutic day programs such as senior programs, horticulture, fitness, and recreation. Little City is a nonprofit organization with a 56-acre main campus in Palatine and other residential facilities throughout the Chicagoland area, as well as offices in Inverness, Chicago, Schaumburg, and Waukegan. We currently serve over 900 people in the northwestern suburbs, primarily in DuPage, Cook, and Lake counties. These individuals range in age from 3 to 99. There are 2 Maine Township residents in our home-based services program and 1 resident in the employment services program. All are adults in their 20s. Our current grant application for consideration is for funding to support the operating expenses of Little City's programs that serve these Maine Township residents, the Employment First and Home and Community-Based Services programs. Our grant request is in the amount of $3,000, which represents a portion of the total deficit for the programs that is allocable to the 3 Maine Township residents. The Home and Community-Based Services program is designed to enable participants to remain living in their home while receiving services that support them to achieve their personal goals. Little City's home-based program currently serves over 300 children and adults per year on average. Home-based support services provide families with critical coordination and support services to ensure that they are able to navigate the state's complex disability systems to best care for their loved one with disabilities. The Home and Community-Based Services program provides individualized service coordination and case management, behavior intervention services, skill assessment, and acquisition services. Parent and caregiver training and support is also provided. This program helps families acquire the adaptive equipment and access the behavioral services needed to allow their family member with a disability to reach their fullest potential at home and in their communities. With this program, we provide goals-oriented, person-centered services in a residential setting with in-home supports to individuals with IDD and their families. 98% of the individuals served remain in their least restrictive environment in their family homes. Employment First is a program that places highly qualified Little City participants in community-based jobs, breaking stereotypes of people with disabilities. All employees placed by Employment First are covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Per the U.S. Department of Labor, the workforce participation rate for individuals with disabilities is about a third of that of people without. Almost 2/3 of the individuals in poverty long-term are people with disabilities. Providing the assistance necessary to find and succeed in employment is a road out of poverty, dependence, and isolation for individuals with disabilities. In the Employment First program, job coaches assess participants' strengths, abilities, preferences, and goals for employment. Every job seeker undergoes a personalized and detailed assessment of strengths and desires, which results in job matches that increase the likelihood of long-term success. The coaches then match the job seekers with employment opportunities in the local job market, helping them land competitive community employment. Once participants are hired for a community-based job, the job coaches work collaboratively with the employer and the client employee to provide ongoing support. We also provide disability etiquette training, pre-start employee profile briefing with supervisors, access to employee first safety support, and site surveys. All team members receive ongoing training in the best practices of community employment service provision. With these assistance, accommodations, and encouragement, many more people with disabilities can work successfully in the community. Little City has contracts with various state agencies to provide these disability services. These agencies include Departments of Human Services, Children and Family Services, Rehabilitation Services, as well as the Illinois State Board of Education. These contracts do comprise the majority of Little City's funding. However, unfortunately, the state's payment rates are insufficient to cover the true costs of providing these services. Without full funding, there is a substantial gap in funding for these services for both the Employment First and home-based community services program. There exists large budget gaps for Little City. Little City relies on additional support through private donations, grants, and special events to fill the budget gap left by inadequate state funding. These programs deliver vital services at Little City, offering a wide range of beneficial options to participants and their families, and prospects for community integration and interaction. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you. Do you have any questions from board members?
This is the first year, or last year was the first year Maine Township was ever requested. You know why it took so long? Because Little City's been around for a long time.
I'm sorry, I don't have been there about
Any
it once
idea?
myself.
Just kind of curious why it's the first year, last year's first year. Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you. Wait, sorry, do I need a direction?
Sorry about that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and our next applicant? Okay, and which one are you? Do we have another one that we can skip to?
I'm still waiting for.
Oh, yeah, it's Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson.
Yeah, they would be our 8 o'clock if John's.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll take it home. Great. While we're taking a little break here, I just want to direct the board members to a handout that's at your place, which I asked our staff to work on and prepare for your review prior to the next board meeting. So, this really isn't for discussion, it's certainly not a vote tonight, but I wanted to make sure you got this information so that you had plenty of time to review it. And what it is the history of the level of our levies for the past 10 years. So you see that for the first page is the township and general assistance total levy. So that's one together. The next one is the road and bridge, which is separate. The third page is the town fund and general assistance Chase Bank savings account. So the first top line, and unfortunately, the photocopies are not in color, so it's hard to tell what you're looking at. The top line is the town fund. That's the town fund balances. The lower line is general assistance. And so, again, what you're seeing here is the past 18 months of bank balances. The next page is the road and bridge monthly statements. Again, it's separate and separately levied. And then the final page relates to our expenditures during the past 3 years. And so it's a little confusing. I'll just walk you through that stuff. Starting on the far left-hand side, it's got the various years, 3 past years, TF for the town fund, GA, general assistant, RB, road and bridge. So those are what the expenditures were for each one of these funds during the past 3 years. You see total, where it says total expenditures, then it says excluding the capital fund. So if you take out the amount for the capital fund, that would be the expenditures that you would see under, well, it's the third from the right column. Then you go with the average of the 3 years, how much we would spend on average for the 3 years. That column combines both the town fund and general assistance, which are typically, combined and levied. So the average is $4,804. Or road and bridge, you see that $6,598,000. Thousand, right? Right. Sometimes you hear a reference to the limit to us collecting bank balances is maybe 2.5 times. So that you would see in the final column what that 2.5 times the amount would be per statute, which is.
Say that again, Karen, the 2.5 is by statute, the
Yeah,
suggestion, is that right?
let me see if I have that in front of me, and I can,
That's really great, that you did that.
well, I.
So that's not an actual number, that's like predicted number.
That's how much we are allowed to have.
By law, you can't have more than 2.5
Very.
times the amount of your
In
operating
reserves,
expense.
basically.
So it's a maximum imposed by the statute as a
Right,
result.
in your reserves.
Okay, thank
So
you.
just to show you what that limit is,
Right.
that's the only reason I put that on there.
You can't be too rich, then it's cap on that.
Right.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, I mean, because then
Theoretically.
you're walking the fine line of why you're taking all those tax dollars and you're not.
If you're so wealthy, if you're so good with money, why do you need that?
They limit,
I get you, okay.
So I want you to have a chance to spend some time looking at that.
Okay.
And, we can talk about that just informally, one-on-one, between now and the next board meeting.
And is that the vote on that, this Karen, or is that the meeting, the vote is in December, isn't it?
Well, what we decide, we can decide what we're going to do in November.
Okay.
So in November, just as a general matter, we can pass a final levy to 4.99% above what the prior levy had been. And when I say that, that doesn't mean really mean we're going to get 4.99%. We're really limited by the CPI. So it would be a couple of percentage points ahead of time.
Okay.
Or another alternative we have is what's called the look-back provision, which provides that when a township has reduced its levy, it can then look back for a 3-year period of time and raise the levy back again, no higher, but back again, to the highest point it was during the prior 3 years.
Average? Like an average thing?
No, the actual levy, so the highest was in 2018, it was about 5 million.
Gotcha. So you can go back in time and get the higher number.
Exactly.
Is that right? Okay.
So it's just a statutory provision which allows boards to, if they decide to lower the levy, they can go back and raise it to a point no higher than it was in the past 3 years.
Okay.
So that's an alternative. Now, if we did that second alternative, we would need to put a notice in the paper and have an additional meeting. So,
More aggravation than the second option.
well,
More time.
yeah, but I mean, it's an important question, an important matter that we need to decide. So, again, just wanted you to have that information and have plenty of time to think about it. Okay, do we have applicants here now, and who do we have here?
Up next, we have Fred Steuben presenting for Resources for Community Living.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Here.
Yes, please.
Well, good evening, everyone. I thought I still had 20 minutes, but I just...
We're moving forward.
My name is Fred Steuben. I am the Executive Director of Resources for Community Living. We are a nonprofit serving adults with developmental disabilities in Northwest and North Cook County. We have been in existence since 1994. We have been serving residents of Maine Township for approximately 20 years. I just want to thank the board and the township for your continued support of what we do with our clients. And I will tell you right away what that is. So again, we work with adults with developmental disabilities. We do this in a number of different ways. Number one, we provide housing opportunities for them. The clients we serve are what we call slightly higher functioning. So they are able to live independently as much as their capabilities present themselves and how much we can kind of get them to really work on. Many of our clients come from families that, they've gone through school and up to the age 22, and then they phase out of that transitional program. And usually, in most cases, the individual stays with family for a few years, and then the family kind of goes, well, it's time for you to move on, just like anyone else. But anyway, seriously, they have abilities to do so. So what do? We come in and help them, number one, find affordable housing. We don't necessarily own buildings per se, but we try to work in the community with landlords and owners of buildings and even single-family residences to find some type of affordable housing for our clients. So having said that, and because they are slightly higher functioning and can afford to basically afford to live on their own, we provide them also with employment assistance. So this could be things like resume writing, interviewing. We help them find jobs. We may even go with them to interviews if the employer allows that. We have a lot of problems many times that employers really don't want us to be in on the interview, but our clients do a lot better if there's someone with them. So we provide this employment assistance for our clients as well. Thirdly, we also help clients in social activities. Our clients, after transitioning from school, there's a tendency for them to be a little more isolated, and this is sometimes understandable. So what we try to do is provide them social outings and activities so they can be into the community, pour into the community. And another good thing that comes out of this is that they meet other individuals that they potentially can share housing with. Many of our clients share a housing situation. So they're either a roommate, or there's maybe 3 individuals living in a housing scenario. And of course, this actually allows for more affordability in a moving involved. So again, the social outings provide that opportunity for individuals to get to know each other and find the right match, let's say that. So we provide the housing, we provide employment, we provide the housing opportunity, and last but not least, life skills training. So we know that, as in anyone else, if you haven't lived on your own and you haven't really cooked at home, how do you do that? So first, our staff works with the clients on things like life skills. So it could be cooking, it could be money management skills, it could be transportation. Some of our clients do drive, but many do not. So they'll have to kind of navigate the transportation system that is in existence. This is a really big challenge for many of our clients that are working, because if they don't have a car, they have to rely on public transport. And the public transport system, though it's come a long way than it was 20 years ago, it's still far from perfect. I know a number of clients that take a number of buses to get somewhere. They travel a good hour and a half to get to a job for $2, and it's not that really necessarily far. And it really, honestly, I respect them because they really take it on, and they do it every day. So we provide them these life skills training, kind of walking them through where to catch the bus, how to catch the bus, how much it is, maybe how to buy tickets and things of that nature. So again, this is what our staff does with our clients. Again, our organization has been around since 1994. We probably serve annually about 150 individuals throughout the Northwest suburbs. We have 47 individuals that are what we call our clients, so we work with them on a regular basis. We have signed agreements with them. We provide them regular services, though we do not charge for our services. We have a number of clients living in the township. We serve 3 currently. And we are here to ask your support again for the next fiscal year. The past year has 2 years have been difficult, to say the least. We have an annual gala every year, which we just had last month. And this year we did slightly better than 2 years ago. 2 years ago was horrible. We normally make about 60 to 70,000, we only made like 20. So we have to make up that budget somehow, very, very quickly. And we were successful to do that through some generous donors that we have. Proportionately, most of our budget actually, probably 80% of our budget is private funds. We rely very little on state. We only have one state contract, which is $5,600. The municipalities and townships help. But in general, all the other funds that we need are raised through private sources. So again, I want to thank everyone for giving me an opportunity to talk about resources for community leaders. If you have any questions, I entertain those.
Okay, I'll turn to the board now and ask if there are any questions.
Hi. So you provide housing and the people who don't have employment. So how are they going to lease to them as the person has no employment? So do you do the lead under your organization or is going to be the person?
So what happens is we work with individuals to get the employment. Of course, if they're looking for housing, we're going to provide a source of employment for them first. And again, in many cases, many of our clients have support from the family as well. So it's not totally 100% they have to pay their rent. But they do contribute, and in some cases, they pay the whole figure. I mean, we have a number of individuals that they're working 2 jobs, and their rent is approximately usually around. We've been able to get it down to like $600 for like a 1-bedroom. So that is very doable for them. So they don't have a lot of money to play with, but in general. Now, of course, our assistants, we have rental assistants sometimes and things of that nature.
Any questions from the members? Yes, Esther.
It says that you plan to use some of the funding for a client that is starting their own small business enterprise.
Right.
Is that client from Maine Township?
She is.
Could you talk a little more about the business?
She lives on Beltline, is that what it is? Our park plan? Yes. So for a number of years, she's been doodling with embroidery. She does cross stitch, and she did other types of sewing as well. But we had an opportunity where there's a small grant that we were able to get. There's a $2,000 grant to support that. So we were able to purchase an embroidery machine. So we found the machine already. She started her training. This is already October in March. So we're doing multiple things. So for example, we're teaching her about marketing. We just selected a name for her, Barb's Stitchery. So we have that, and then we're looking for a logo kind of thing. And we're now in the process of designing product and see what type of products would sell in the market. And finally, we're partnering with other businesses. So we have a partnership with an organization in a business in Woodfield. And they're willing to display their items, at no charge, things like that. So we're trying to develop those kind of partnerships as well. So yeah, it's good. She's all excited. And it's been a little difficult with, it's been hard during early on. They weren't doing, it was hard finding someone to train her one-on-one because of the social distancing thing. So it's been difficult. But we've been able to kind of get over it. So hopefully around the holidays coming up soon, we might be able to get some things out there online from our website.
Should put that story on the TV somehow.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you.
Person disabled who's is now self-employed. That's like remarkable.
Yes, that's what we intended to do.
I'll say.
Rich, do you have a question?
Fred, of the 3 Maine Township clients that you serve, are those part of the 47 clients that are seen on a regular basis? Or
Yes,
or-
yes, yes. So there are full-time.
Does that number lower because of COVID, or is that pretty typical, like from years past?
The township numbers or the general?
Just your numbers in general, have you seen a decrease? Or pretty,
We have seen a decrease in organizations calling us for referrals and assistance. That's slowed down.
okay.
So we did, 2 years ago, we did 180 people, and this year is 150, so it's gone down a little bit. The biggest change has been just referrals. People calling for services has been a lot less, though in the past few months that's gone back up. And we've gotten already another new client and another one that's going to sign up, so that's kind of very
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fred.
Up next, we're going to have John Nivola and Christy Garceau for Center of Concern.
Good evening. Hi, I'm John Nivola. I've been the director of the Center of Concern for 10 years. And with me is Christy Garceau, who's our director of development. And so I'm very pleased to be here. Some familiar faces as well as new ones. But congratulations to everyone in their new post as trustees. Since 1978, the Center has been building strong partnerships and significant volunteer support to strengthen our community with timely intervention to stabilize families, reduce hardships, and deliver compassionate care to our most vulnerable residents. Our agency's mission is more important than ever, with so many families separated by distance, record numbers of baby boomers reaching retirement, and 21st century lifestyles where multi-generational families living in close proximity are the exception and not the norm. As you well imagine, these past 2 years have been very challenging with our services, primarily which target older adults and persons with housing insecurity. In our last fiscal year, ending June 30, 2021, we delivered 27,000 services to Maine Township residents, which is a remarkable 35% increase over the prior year. The average demographic of the Center of Concern client is female, 62 years old, with income under $18,500. Many of the clients we serve have depleted their savings in caring for loved ones and are unable to afford housing, let alone the cost of assisted living and residential care. The center also serves younger adults and children through our housing solutions and community service resources. Last year, we were very grateful to receive the additional $7,700 allocation in township funding to help us address increased needs in Maine Township. And we're also very grateful for the township's many services, particularly mental health counseling, which are a tremendous benefit for our clients, as well as our agency staff pursuing their continuing education credits. Some of our pandemic support services included 2,000 COVID-19 care package supplies to Maine Township residents, contacting 1,000 residents to secure vaccinations last spring. For many of these residents, it was the first time venturing outside their home, and they were deeply grateful for help navigating the very technologically centered scheduling that was found in the community. Our continued financial assistance for rent and utilities for households affected by COVID-19 was also assisting residents, as well as providing help for struggling local businesses with forgivable loans provided by the CARES Act. Am I talking too much? Do you want to talk too much? Currently, we are offering timely access to information about booster vaccines, including free transportation to vaccine appointments. Turning to our senior support services, which make up 80% of our service delivery, we're very thankful to keep all of our services and staff throughout the pandemic, but with modifications to ensure safety in many areas. Our Congregate Meal Program, curbside delivery, provided 26,000 meals last year. And I'm happy to report that we recently transitioned to in-person activities at a new location at Messiah Lutheran Church each weekday. The Lunch with Us in-person meals provide education and socializing activities to target isolation among older adults. Our shore housekeeping program will provide 11,000 hours this year to provide free housekeeping, light meal preparation, and other home maintenance assistance to help older adults stay in their homes. Memory Cafe provides a comfortable environment for family caregivers dealing with loved ones enduring memory loss. Happy to report that is happening in 2 locations. But I want to say the most impactful area of the center are the free in-home assessments for Maine Township residents and ongoing case management by our licensed counselors to connect adults to a variety of supportive services to maintain their independence at home as we advocate for their immediate and long-term needs. We are also a family caregiver's best friend, helping them with effective solutions as they navigate challenging decisions related to their health and safety, aging parents, and loved ones. Our housing services include a rapid housing program. We provide shelter to homeless individuals. This program that can last as long as 2 years, providing behavioral counseling, employment opportunities, and life skills training to prevent further hardships. We're also providing rent and utility assistance to families to help overcome financial hardships. And our home sharing program, which is one of the oldest in the country, provides additional income for older adults and carefully matched adults seeking affordable housing opportunities. Older adults are less isolated and find great comfort in knowing that there's someone there nearby. And when matched early enough, older adults can defray the cost of in-home caregiving needs. Our community service area, this is the last area I'm going to talk about because I'm running out of time. In addition to tax preparation for low-income residents, professional volunteer counselors provide legal, employment, and medical insurance counseling to residents. Our Energy Assistance Program provides education on energy savings and connects residents to low-cost internet and other essential services. So since 1970, one of our agency's greatest strengths has been leveraging the skills and commitments of volunteers. Our volunteer force provides a wide range of services for residents and significantly reduces labor costs by assisting with reception, intake, data entry, along with new opportunities for younger adults and students to support our agency mission. Our team board attracts students from many local schools and instills positive values as they embrace service opportunities to support agency clients. Most admirable are the wide range of dedicated volunteers specializing in the needs of elderly residents with their friendly visits, telephone reassurance, and shopping assistance in partnership with our experienced case manager. Our services are needed now more than ever to respond to health and safety needs of residents impacted by the coronavirus. We're deeply grateful for the positive partnership we maintain with Maine Township to prevent greater hardships through effective intervention and ongoing support for families in crisis. With your support, we'll remain committed to pursuing opportunities that do not duplicate the efforts of other agencies and adapt programs and services to address unmet needs in the communities. I thank you for your time, and I welcome any and all of you to visit our agency to learn more about our services and how we can better partner with you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board members?
I'm sorry if I missed it, but is there a minimum age that no?
Not for older adult services. I mean, if they're in need of older adult services based on their physical ability, then.
Okay.
My mission is to help older adults, persons with disabilities, and others in need.
Okay.
And we do help quite a few smaller, younger families, unfortunately, with victims of domestic violence that are housed in our housing programs.
Are you, prior to COVID, I used to work at the library, so I'm very familiar with the lunch program, which is very popular. Are you doing that again?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good.
We're at the Messiah Lutheran Church.
Okay.
Tuesday through Friday, and we're still seeking a location for our Monday.
Okay, that's great.
How many people take advantage of the senior lunch program?
So currently we have 100 people that are receiving meals each week, and at its height when we were at the Springs Library, I think we were around an additional 35 a day that would come with in-person activities. The start week, I think the highest number we've had so far is 17 a day. However, we have to observe social distancing requirements, so I think the maximum would remain 20 per day meal. But then we also deliver frozen meals, both at our location in Des Plaines as well as in Myers. So that accounts for, we're still on track to have 26,000 meals delivered as well as the economy in person. That's quite a jump on prior to COVID.
Other questions from directors?
I have a quick question about one of your line items under expenses. It says volunteer hours, $200,000. Can you explain what that is?
So volunteer hours, the professional volunteer hours are based on a dollar scale that I'm ranking on the it's an industry accepted scale.
The volunteer in-kind hour value of what they're worth. So that was an in-kind line item, I think is what the question was. It's not an expense. I mean, it is an expense
Right.
because it's an in-kind.
Well, it's not tangible, it's what, if you would pay them what it would equal?
It's what they're worth. Yes.
What they're worth. Okay.
So they're donating it to us.
It shows up on the income and the expense side. It's important to note that there's definitely interest service and volunteers.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, before we go to the next applicant, I suppose you might have understand, but I just want you to be present for a discussion about how we're going to decide how much the grantees can be granted. And I think I distributed this schedule by email, but you probably don't have it with you. So I'm just making some copies right now. I'm just going to hand it out. And then I just want to go through this process, Rich suggested this, and see if everyone understands this or wants to modify it or something to that effect. Just pass it down, yeah, it doesn't matter. Should be fine. All right, so as we look at the schedule, it begins with today, the final funding hearing. Rich, why don't you sort of walk us through this, because you developed this suggested way of making...
So one extra if we need one. Sure. In the proposal on November 12th, we would all staff members would turn in recommendations to Bronca, and then those, along with the recommended average of staff members, would be distributed in the board packet the week prior to the board meeting for board members to review.
And Rich, when you say staff, you mean the four of you, is that who you mean? Or do you mean
Yes.
other individuals? Okay,
Yes.
the four of you.
The four
Okay.
of us, yeah.
All right, so your recommendations would
Well,
be...
and Bronca as well.
Okay.
So 5 altogether.
Okay, so your recommendations, the staff recommendations would be given to us in our board packets. That's what we'll
Correct.
receive a little later this month, and we can review what your recommendations were. Okay, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And then the board could discuss funding priorities at the November board meeting without actually voting on those. And then after those discussions and the opportunity for the board to review staff recommendations, we would ask that the board turn in their recommendations to Bronca by the 10th of December.
And how would you anticipate those would look? I mean, most of us haven't done this before.
Sure.
So how would you anticipate that we would present our recommendations, the board members?
What we've done in recent years, just to make it a little bit easier, is that our agency and program coordinator has sent out an Excel spreadsheet for each person with the list of the agencies, their recommended, their requests, and then a place for you to put in your amounts. And so it automatically calculates the total for you too, so you don't have to do math on the back of a piece of paper if you have a particular bottom number in mind for the total amount of funding. So that's one way. If it's easier for board members to get it to us in a different way, we'll take it however you'd like, but that's what we've done in recent years, just send it in an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, and board members just fill in the dollar amount.
Correct.
Okay, so on the 17th, what happens then, December 17th?
So on the 17th, the staff members would meet to look at the amounts that the board has given as far as funding, and based on the overall average, make some consensus recommendations. So rather than going by true average, kind of go up or down depending on personal experience with agencies, and just to kind of reach a round number, so we don't
Rounding it up somewhat, is that right?
I'm sorry?
You're sort of just rounding it up or down a little bit.
Mostly, yes.
Okay.
And then those recommendations, along with everybody's numbers, board as well as staff members, would be given to the board in the board packet the week prior to the December meeting for review. And then at the December meeting, the board can vote on that consensus recommendation or adjust that up or down, depending on what they'd like to do.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments about this process? Or, if you have some concerns about it or think it should be changed in some way?
My only comment is I would request a hard copy of the December 10th recommendation you want from me, something I could fill in the numbers.
Sure.
You prefer that, a hard copy?
Just a hard copy of it, right? Email messages, go on the website, send it back. I'd rather fill it out by hand and get it back to you guys.
Okay.
That'd be
Is that all right,
easier.
Rich?
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
That's my only request.
All right, okay.
Pretty easy.
All right. Any other questions or comments about this proposed process? All right, I guess that's what we'll try and do. All right, I think
Yeah,
that's
sounds
the way
good.
we will.
My comment is it sounds good.
We will proceed that way.
Very
Okay.
thorough.
All right, so we all understand that, and we can go forward with that. Now, we have two more applicants. Northwest Compass, is anyone here from Northwest Compass? All right, fine, they were not here last time either. I don't know if they're coming. And one other is Karen Cure. Yes, that's it.
Excuse for clear and pure.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay, all right, fine. Thank you, Right.
Our next presenter is doing Manaj Yakbar for Karen Cure Inc.
All right, fine. Would you like to come up to the podium?
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi. My company is totally new. We don't have so much to say, but still I will say the brief words are motivations for this one. Before we started in this company, we still work in the same way as we will work with this company. So what we were doing, we were just finding out whoever need help. It's not only for related to food. It can be with any service, if they need any help for the tax return, if they need any help for the real estate, if they need help for any grocery, if they need help a translator for any language problems, anything. So our company is not only for the food, but that's the main need. People, they need the food first, then the services. So that's why we started this company. So before this company, we were doing this service without any company, only just as a freelancer. And then we decided that, okay, we should have some company, so at least the more people can join us. And then we started this company. And then since we started, then the pandemic started. So we were not able to do much.
Okay, all right. So I understand the main service you're providing is distribution of food at this point. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are these cooked meals? Or are these?
During the pandemic, we just giving the only dry groceries.
Okay.
Yeah, not the cooked meal. But before that, yes, we used to give the cooked meal.
And is that what you're going to be doing again, or do you know?
Yes, we're gonna do it again.
Okay, all right. Turn to the board members, ask other board members if they have questions. All right, and also turning to our directors, if they have any questions for this applicant, Justin.
It says that there's no charge for the food services.
No, we are just collecting, since we did not have any company before, we were not charging to any, because people whom we are just giving the food, they obviously they don't have money, that's why they are coming to us. So if they have the money, they don't need to come to us, so why we should charge them? And even our just more aim is just help the people, not make the money. We all who is all the directors, members, everybody they have different jobs and they are working for the money, not for the non-profit organization.
Sure. So do they have to prove that they're low income in any way, or is there like an interview, or you'll just, if they ask you, you'll do it?
Sorry?
Do they have to prove that they need it in any way, or?
No, right now we were not taking any approval or anything, we were not checking their tax returns, or we are not verifying whether they need help or not. But in future, if we find out somebody is doing something wrong, they don't need it and still they are getting help, then definitely we can go and we can just make sure that for sure they need help.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, Rick?
How is the food delivered? Is it delivered by volunteers or staff, or is it delivered from the restaurants directly?
If it's cooked food, we can ask to the restaurants whatever food they can just donate us, and then according to that we can just make the packages. And if it's just dry food, then yes, we can deliver personally.
So your rent at this time is for free? You don't have to pay rent right now, right?
No.
Great.
Yeah, because we were doing from the mask in the basement, so they are not charging us anything. So we are not paying any rent, no salary, nothing.
Any other questions?
Do you have any employees? How many employees do you have to help you?
No, all we are just working volunteers.
All volunteers.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to do the volunteers, you are welcome. You can come. We are always keep looking.
Good for you. How many do you think you'll have? Good, reliable volunteers to do this.
There is so many volunteers and we always make the list. So whenever we need anybody, we just send them the text message or try to contact everybody, whoever can accommodate the time.
All right. So you got a good group, though. You got a good group.
We are just trying. Even during the pandemic also, I was just helping all the people, they need application for the renter's assistance, they need application for the mortgage assistance, all those things.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more entity on our list, but do we have anyone here from Northwest Campus?
No, they should be here by 8 o'clock. And they only just used to be half an hour early.
They weren't here the last time they were on our schedule either. Have you been in contact with them since then? Are we sure they're going to show it off?
Yes, I reconfirmed with Sonia at about 3:30 p.m. today that she should be here.
Okay.
And I had her show up like an hour early.
Okay. Okay, fine. All right.
What time are they scheduled for?
8:30.
Yeah. Very efficient this year.
Yes. In case someone's missing the packet, it should be with the last meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, here. You want to look at it again? Oh,
we have Sonia Ivan with Northwest Compass.
I have to go there. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. I don't know if I need this or not, but I'm from Northwest Campus. We're a non-profit organization located in Mount Prospect, but we serve the Northwest community in general, including obviously Maine Township. We do have a building that we own in Des Plaines, and we have like 8 housing units in that building that house people that have been homeless or previously or experiencing some homelessness in the past. We most likely you already know what type of services we provide. I will try to be as quickly as possible. We have been receiving the support from Maine Township for many years, and we're very grateful for the partnership and all the financial assistance that you provide to us. We serve anyone in our community that suffered through some kind of personal crisis, economic crisis, or housing crisis. Anyone that experienced some kind of housing and food insecurity, instability, personal issue, financial crisis, and so forth can come to our office and receive a variety of services. The services that we provide in general are in 3 categories: stabilization services, empowerment services, and housing services. The stabilization services are about like food pantry and vouchers and limited assistance, financial and counseling related. The empowerment services are more about like career coaching, job readiness, money management, repair credit, anything related to better money management skills. We do have limited legal assistance by pro bono attorneys in a variety of life skills, empowerment workshops, any type of educational activity and so forth. And the housing probably is the biggest portion of everything that we do. A couple of years ago, it's like the HUD decided that it's like any housing assistance related to homelessness prevention, navigation, anything housing related issue needs to be coordinated, and we became the lead agency in the north for any assistance regarding housing. We are also so-called walk-in center that people can come to us, and anyone that experience some kind of crisis or instability and obviously homelessness can come to us. We do have street outreach, housing mitigation, homelessness diversion, and a variety of rent assistance. Obviously, with the new funding that was available in the last couple of months, we do provide a lot of guidance and assistance for people that can apply for different type of money available for rental mortgage assistance. Mortgage assistance is still not in place, but hopefully in the next month or so. During the pandemic, we were one of the few organizations that never closed our doors. We never worked virtually just because most of our clients really needed the assistance that we provide. We stay open the entire time and we continue seeing people in person. That took a toll on a lot of our staff, and it's like it was very hard, but we not only kept our doors open, we actually expanded our services because of the need of the community. We started delivering food to people that are vulnerable and don't have transportation or like are very concerned about health issues in the entire northwest suburbs. We are not a shelter per se, but because the shelter in our area is extremely restricted and impose some rules that we don't agree with, we place more than 150 people in a hotel and provided 580 nights in a hotel stay without receiving any funding for a hotel stay because we are not a shelter per se, as I said. But thankfully our generous community and it's like our own fundraising and funding, we were able to provide assistance. We had people, especially last year in April, in the beginning of May, that was sleeping on a parking lot in front of our building. And it's like the only way that we can help them, it's like was to try to find assistance for them and put them in a hotel until we try to work some other housing options for them and so forth. The funding that we apply for Maine Townships is under 2 categories, helping hands and HIDE. HYPE is our kind of newest program, stands for Helping Youth on a Path to Empowerment. We started our HYPE program probably around 5 years ago, and it's especially geared for youth 18 to 24 because we found out that there is a lot of kids in our area that are in this age category, but for whatever reason they're losing the support from their family or the school that they go to, and especially kids that are discharged from the foster care system and so forth. And we just needed to gear specific services towards that population because it's like, even though the youth in this group is only less than 20% of our population, they're 100% of our future, and we decided that if we don't help them to become a productive member of the society and kind of overcome some barriers, it's like that lead to very long consequences for not just for them, for the society in general. And we expanded our program, especially in the last year. We were awarded a grant for the youth demonstration housing project, and we were able to actually increase the number of youth that we are serving, not just in the Maine Township, but it's like in the surrounding suburbs. At the building that we own at the Springs area, at this point in time, we have households that are in this age category, 18 to 24, and they really need like a very targeted individual services. The other portion of the funding that we requested is for a program which it's called Helping Hands. And usually it's a very limited one-time financial assistance for about $250 per person for any type of assistance that they can get and really change the trajectory of their life because the service that they need may not be eligible or available to any other type of funding. I mean, it's kind of sometimes a person needs to get a car insurance in order to start driving Uber and provide for their family. Or they have to buy a certificate, insurance certificate in order to do some certain type of job. Or working goods to even start working and so forth. And it's like this very like a small financial assistance really makes the difference in the life of someone that have no means to like face their basic needs and have additional expense for something that can help them out. And with the Helping Hands funds, it's like we were planning to assist up to 20 family, no more than $150 per person one time a year. And then obviously it's like we can provide additional services to them if they need it. And for the HYPE program, according to the youth that we have, it's like it's about less than $500 per youth for a year. And it's like tomorrow actually it's like Marky Cook from Maine Township. It's like I just talked to him yesterday and over the weekend and last week. Tomorrow it's like we're meeting one kid that is in school in one of the main schools, and it's like he's homeless and got no place to go. We placed him in a hotel for the last 2 weeks, and it's like the next week we're trying to find out a different type of housing for him. But it's like all those the partnership that we have is like plays extremely vital role because we cannot do it together. It's like we depend on the community support, municipality support, and thankfully we live in a very affluential community, and it's like the community is very generous. But any help is greatly appreciated and really makes a difference.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from board members? All right. Any directions? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. So that concludes our presentations for this evening. There's a motion to adjourn for this evening.
Yes, I'll move to adjourn, please.
Second?
Roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Corbin?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Administrator Berman? Yes. Department heads Lipinski, Lyon, and Kessler?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.